Every year on April 25, as dawn breaks over Australia and New Zealand, silence falls, not as forgetfulness, but as remembrance. It is ANZAC Day, the most solemn date in the national calendars of both nations, marking not a victory, but a brutal baptism of fire that shaped their identities. On this day in 1915, the young soldiers of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps (ANZAC) landed on the rugged shores of Gallipoli, Turkey, as part of a British-led campaign during World War I. The mission was flawed from the start. Poor planning, inaccurate maps, and an underestimation of the Ottoman resistance led to chaos and slaughter. The soldiers were met not by easy conquest but by cliffs, machine guns, and a deeply entrenched enemy. What was intended as a swift operation to knock the Ottoman Empire out of the war became a drawn-out, bloody stalemate, an 8-month ordeal of mud, disease, heat, and death. What unfolded at Gallipoli was more than a military failure. It was a tragedy of human proportions. Over 8,000 Australians and 2,700 New Zealanders died in a campaign that achieved almost nothing strategically. Yet from this horrific crucible emerged a kind of mythos, the ANZAC spirit, characterized by endurance, mateship, courage, and a sardonic defiance in the face of hopelessness. In the trenches, soldiers from two distant colonies forged a bond not only with one another but with a nascent sense of nationhood. They were no longer merely extensions of the British Empire, they were Australians and New Zealanders. The shorelines of Gallipoli may have been drenched in blood, but they also bore the painful imprint of independence. ANZAC Day is not a celebration of war. It is a confrontation with it. It forces both nations to ask what kind of stories they want to tell about themselves. The Gallipoli campaign was a military disaster, but it has been recast, sometimes too romantically, as the heroic origin story of two nations. The danger lies in glorifying the sacrifice while forgetting the political failures that led to it. Still, there is something undeniably powerful in how two small countries have turned a national trauma into a day of collective reflection. ANZAC Day reminds Australians and New Zealanders that history is not made only by victories, but by memory, by who we choose to remember, and how. In cemeteries from Lone Pine to Chinook Bear, names carved in stone tell of sons lost thousands of miles from home. In towns across Australasia, they are not forgotten. ANZAC Day remains, more than a century later, a moment not just of grief but of grit, an echo of young voices who fought, and died, believing in something greater than themselves. It is a legacy both painful and proud, and it demands that we remember war not as glory, but as sacrifice.